Hare Krishna. So are you seeing the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see his
So today we are going to start sixth chapter from second canto, and title of this chapter is Purushukta Confirmed. So this is not the chapter that gives the Purushukta verses, but this chapter titled by His Divine Grace Prabhupada is Purush Shukta Confirmed, which means it's confirmation of Purushukta prayers. So we'll just quickly summarize what we have discussed and then we'll get into this chapter very quickly. This chapter, I'm just going to give you the summary, not really get into a lot of details because we have already gone through most of the details in previous chapter. So this chapter is very much confirmation by Lord Brahma. Anybody knows who is talking in this chapter? Who are the two personalities who are talking? Who can tell? So Lord Brahma is sharing the process of creation to whom? Anybody knows?
Naradam.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, he's talking this to Narad Muni. So two exalted, great personalities are talking. So in previous chapter, Narad Muni is asking these 6 questions for creation, which is everything. First one is asked Yadrupam. What are the characters of this universe? Yad Adhisthanam. Adhisthanam, where it is taking shelter. And Yatah Srishtam, how is it created? Yatah Samastam, how it is conserved. So how it is created and how it is maintained. Creation, maintenance, and Yat Param, on what and whom it depends on. And Yatcha, what are the elements of this creation? So overall character is character of Vasudevam. Where is taking shelter? Is taking shelter on Lord Narayan. How is it created? We discussed a little bit. We'll discuss some of that today. How is it conserved? Lord Vishnu is conserving it. How is it conserved? We discussed that in last class, that when the material world is annihilated, it goes back, depends on type of annihilation. It goes back to Vishnu. And Yat Param, what it depends on? It depends on Vishnu. Depends on Lord Vishnu. And Yatcha, what is it composed of? That's what we have been discussing, and we'll have some discussions today. So Yatcha, what it is composed of, I would like to spend some time on this one. If you can take a screenshot or whatever way you like to capture this learning, that's fine. So this is the essential learning that we have to get. We talked that if you look at the picture also here, this is Karnodakshay Vishnu. So from Karnodakshay Vishnu's body, all of these universes are coming. So there are numerous universes coming, right? And we are part of one of these universe that you are seeing, that we are part of. And then in each universe, you can see in the picture, it's a little bit shown that From Karnodakshai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu comes out and he is lying on the ocean of Garbha, right? Here you can see in all of the small globes, there is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So Karnodakshai Vishnu, from his body, the universes are coming. And once these universes are created, then there is unmanifested state of material nature. That's very, very important to understand. Material nature has manifested and unmanifested state. So this unmanifested state of whole material element is called pradhan. It took a lot of time for me to understand. First time I gave a copy of Bhagavad Gita to my father-in-law. He read and he called me, what is Mahatattva? The first question he asked me, what is Mahatattva? I'm reading the purport and there is some technical terms. It says Mahatattva. So I took some time in explaining. That time also I understood that, oh, this question may come by other devotees. So Pradhan is unmanifested state. And when Pradhan is mixed up with Kal and Jiva, then it comes into a agitated state. So non-active state is Pradhan and active state is Mahatattva. But Mahatattva has only these two guna. It's very important. I'll keep on re-emphasizing this. Only two guna. Sattva and Rajaguna. So when creation has to happen, Mahatattva is now mixing up with the false ego. Brahmanda Brahmitte Kono Bhagyavan Ji. Krishna says that Prakriti Kriya Manani Gune Karmani Sarvasa. Ahankar. This false ego is Ahankar. Ahankar Vimudhatma. So this Ahankar, when it mixes into Mahatattva, then there is Ahankar in goodness and Ahankar is passion, but mostly Ahankar is considered in tamas. Predominantly, Ahankar is in ignorance. So Mahatattva transforms into these three guna. And these three gunas have their own acting potencies. So from goodness, this Daiva, all these demigod elements of the material creation comes. So goodness is source of doership, Gyan Shakti. The propensity of doing things comes from knowledge, right? Before you do anything, you have the knowledge of it. Before you cook, you know what you are going to cook. You have the recipe in your mind, right? Before you go somewhere, you have the destination in your mind. Then you get into the car and then you get there. So first element is Gyan Shakti, and personification for Gyan Shakti is these demigods. So mind and 10 sense devata. So each senses have their personified demigod. So mind and 10 sense devatas, they are the element of Gyan Shakti. And then once you have Gyan, then you have Karna. You want to go to Walmart. Okay. That's your knowledge. That's your action that you want to do. But you have to go by car. You go by car. So Karan is The instrument that making it happen is car. So Karan Shakti is Adhyatma, oneself. Soul has the knowledge and soul is acting in that knowledge. So from that, there are 10 types of karna, causes, pran, soul itself, and then 10 senses and intelligence. And finally, there is actual work done, result of that karna and gyan. And that is Dravya Shakti, elements, material elements that you see around. And that is Adi Bhuta. So Adi Bhuta, Adhyatma, and Adi Daiva. Goodness is Adi Daiva, passion is Adhyat, and Adi Bhuta is effect. So 5 senses, subtle senses, which is called Tanmatra, and 5 gross senses. So knowledge acquiring senses, working senses, sense, object, and 5 prominent senses. All of that makes it 20. So these are the elements. So you can see material elements that is part of the creation. Some of them are in the goodness, some of them are in the passion, and some of them are in the ignorance. You can see that, right? And the blend of these elements is what we are. That tells we are blend of this. So originally there are 3 color. When you study chromatography, they say that there are only 3 color. Original color, red, green, and blue, RGB. And all other colors that we are seeing are combination of these 3 color. So red, green, blue mixed up in different combination gives different color. Black, purple, white, any other color, brown, there are infinite many colors. But all of these colors, light, dark, light, intense dark, light red, intense red, dark red, all of that, different hue of the color, HUE, that we see are combination of these 3 colors. So likewise, all of us living entity in different form, they are combinations of this element. That is why Krishna says Vidya, Vinay, Shampani, Brahmini, Gavahastini, Shuni Chaiva, Swapakecha, Pandita, Samadarsina. When we say that somebody is Uttmadhikari or Madhyamadhikari or very exalted advanced devotee is seeing this. That Vidya and Vinay, Vidya means knowledge. The one who has knowledge of the science, Vinay, with due humility, who is Sampane, who is equipped with this knowledge and humility, Vidya Vinay Sampane. What he says, Brahmine Gavahastina, Sunichaiva Supakesa Pandita. He does not see difference in the body. The gross, the senses are, the gross of our existence is seeing the differences. The more gross we are, the more we see the differences. Okay, that's the grossest form of our existence. Seeing that I am Indian, somebody is American. Even in the India, I have, I'm from South, I'm from North, I'm from East, I'm West. I'm from this part of the globe, I'm from Hispanic background, oh, this is animal, this is cat, dog, but Shastra does not teach that. This is very gross understanding. This differentiation that we have means we are being, or we are acting as what we are, because we are made of these three gunas: goodness, passion, and ignorance. And these creations, these material elements are composed in various proportion. The living entity have different types of consciousness. What are those consciousness? Avrita consciousness, fully covered. Sankuchita consciousness, restricted consciousness. Fully covered consciousness, which are the plants. Sankuchita consciousness, restricted consciousness, are animals consciousness. And Mukulita consciousness means developed consciousness is human being consciousness. But after Mukulita, there is two more stages. Mukulita and then Ardha Mukulita and Pud Mukulita. Fully grown up person who is fully developed. That are the person, those are the person in different language. We say Uttama Adhikari. And the person is fully grown up. And he is not caught up with these distinctions. I, me, mine, too much, Rather, that's symptom of surrender also. So we have to understand that the more we act on our actual elemental existence, the more we are identifying ourselves being the material being. Because our composition, like draws the like. This is nature of this is the law of the material existence. The like draws the like. So that's what Krishna is saying, that Tragunya Visaya Veda Nastaragunya Bhava Arjuna. So devotional service is coming out of this understanding, going beyond, because this is our nature to act under this guna. O Arjun, this is your quality. That's what you are made of. Vasnastaragunya Bhava Arjuna. Come out of it. And that's what devotional service is doing to us. What is the importance and practical application of this learning? The practical application of this learning is that we have to know who we are. And then taking deeper shelter of Karnodakshai Vishnu, Lord Balram, Krishna, to come out of who we are, because this is our propensity to act the way normally we are acting. So further, we are going to explain what this different Adideva, Adhyatma, Adibhuta, or Gyan Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Dravya Shaktis are. So Adideva, there are 10 senses, and for each senses there is a demigod specified. So ears, demigod is Dig Devatas, eyes, Surya, skin, Vayu. So these demigods are controlling certain senses. Okay. And these senses, you saw the 10 senses here, they are basically oneself. So we have ears, we have eyes, we have a skin, we have nose, we have tongue, we have hands, we have feet, we have voice, we have anus, we have genitals. All of these we have 5 ear, eyes, skin, nose, tongue. There's 5 senses. And then 5 working senses: hands, feet, voice, anus, genital. They are the working senses. So these senses are controlled by these demigods. Okay. And then Adibhuta, the material elements, the way it's being created is that each gross element has source in their subtle element. So 5 sense object, and 5 gross senses. So sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. These are 5. These are 5 tanmatra, sense object. And from each sense object, there is gross sense. So we'll just go through it. So when creation happens, it happens from subtlest to grossest. And when destruction happens, it happens from grossest to subtlest. Very important. When creation happens,
Prabhu, could you please repeat?
when creation happens, it happens from subtlest to grossest. And you can see that from Pradhan to Mahatattva to Ahankar, finally it comes to the grossest stage. But when annihilation happens, it happens from grossest. Earth will be destroyed, then water will, earth will become fiery, then it will start heating water, water will start evaporating, everything will turn into fire, and then finally fire will mix into the air, finally air will get into the ether and gone, everything will get into the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. We are gone. So that's how it happens. So sound and ether. Ether is space. So ether has quality of sound. You hear that? In the sky sometimes when thunderstorm happens, sound. Open is the ether. Ether has sound. And when sound and ether and touch are mixed up, then gross element air. So air, when air is blowing, you can hear the sound. And here also you can feel when it's blowing, your hair is moving, right? Touch. Air has the quality of touch and sound. So here you can hear the sound. When it very a stormy day, and air is blowing, you can hear, trees are shaking and air is blowing. So it has sound, certain sound comes. And then touch. And when sound, ether, touch, air, and form, these components are mixed up, then fire. So fire has quality of both sound. You see, the fire flame sounds. There is certain sound, you can see. If you touch, it will burn. And fire has a form. Fire, you can see. So fire has these 3 quality: sound, touch, and form. And when sound, touch, form, and ether, air, fire, these are mixed up, then water is coming. So water has taste. Water has form. You can put into glass, you can put into cup, you can put into water bottle, it has form. It takes the form, it has form. And you can touch. Water has touch. And when you pour the water, sound comes. So it has sound. So water has touch, water has sound, water has form, and water has taste. And when sound, touch, form, taste, they are blended together, then earth comes. Okay, so gross element, you can see it's getting grosser and finally grossest. And what is making it grossest and grossest? Grosser to grossest is the material existence plus combination of subtle. So both gross and subtle in different composition, they are mixing up and they're becoming grosser to grossest. So sound, touch, form, taste, ether, air, fire, and water, all of these are mixed up, and finally earth comes. So earth has space. It's called porosity. If you study soil, dynamics, there is porosity. There is air entrapped. into soil. There is fire in the soil. There is water beneath, aquifer. There is water table. Okay, water has, the earth has a smell. Different places you will see some pungent, smell. Some, if you just take the piece of earth wherever you are, a smell is a certain smell that comes out of earth. It has taste. Clay versus, there are different types of 3 types, 4 types of soils. So each, soil has different types of taste. It has form, solid form. It has touch, you can touch it. And it has sound when it cracks, bhukam, sounds comes. So earth is the grossest, most adibhuta, material element that has the quality of sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. So Bhagavatam says that in fact, all of this transformation that happening, it's happening because of sound plus Lord's glance, time, and his external energy. When they are put together, it turns into ether. Again, touch plus Lord's glance. That's why we say that everywhere is Krishna only, because all of these forms that you are seeing, and I always talk and tell that what makes cement holding capacity, how stones are so strong and staying together. There are, if you look at the chemistry, there are elements, chemical elements, and they have their certain behavior: carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, helium, chlorine, bromine, iodine. All of these characters are due to presence of Lord's energy, right? The gross, and that is the difference between material understanding versus spiritual understanding. We see that everything that is existing or is in a form because of the presence of Supreme Lord. So you can see that we as living entity or Kshitijala Bhav Gagan Sharira, Panchatattva Nirmit Adham Sharira. So this, human form is made of earth. Water is there inside our body. Fire is there, Davanal, the fire that digests the food. Air, breathing in, breathing out. There is open space in our belly, everywhere. There is open space. So we are made of these gross elements. We are made of these 5 tanmatra. We are talking, we can touch, we feel touch, we have a form, we taste, we smell, and we have these working senses and gross senses, which are coming out of this demigod. So you can see all of these combinations put into different compositions. All of these elements put into different composition gives the different types of form. And all of this is coming because of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is why living entities should understand that we say that, oh, and that's why sometimes people say that we are spiritual. Yeah, that's also correct. Because our source is Lord Himself. But the elements that's being used are material. So we are the spiritual soul. Soul is spiritual, but it's encased in body that is made of material elements. So that's what is basically in detail confirmed in this chapter. Purushukta confirmed means this chapter is not giving the verses that is in Purushukta. Purushukta is part of the Rig Veda, and also it's part of the Yajur Veda. Whenever there is deity installation, especially Lord Narayan's deity, these prayers are invoked. These are the prayers to Garbhodakshai Vishnu. We are praying to Lord Garva, which is Vishnu. So in this chapter, basically, there are set of verses which are similar to the verses that are present in Purushukta prayers. So that's why this chapter is titled is confirmation. And you will hear Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given a commentary saying that that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very bona fide scripture, because it gives the teaching that is present in Veda or somewhere else. This chapter also helps us understand that teaching of Bhagavatam is aligned with what is presented in Rig Veda and Yajur Veda, because Purushukta says that creator, super creator, supreme creator is Lord Karnodakshai Vishnu. And that's why this chapter is going to say the creator is Karnodakshai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Shiro Dakshai Vishnu. So not only the material creation, but a spiritual world is also created by Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have discussed this in Bhagavad Gita also. Ekpad Vibhuti and Tripad Vibhuti. Ekpad is 1/4 of the material creation, is 1/4 of the creation is material world, and 3/4 is spiritual. So this 3/4 that we are talking about, Lord Burma is saying that, okay, I already told you a lot of details about the material creation, but please be aware that this is only 1/4. So what I'm talking right now and what I have been talking, this is only 1/4. 3/4 is the spiritual world. And both this 3/4 and 1/4, all of these are created by Lord. So not only material world, but the entire creation, both the spiritual and material, is created by Lord Himself. But He says, as far as this material creation is concerned, I'm just going to testify you that, and I don't lie, He says. I don't lie. My words are not false. Let me accept it that I am only the secondary creator. I really only do part of the job. Most of the job is being done by Lord Himself. Hence, it's very, very difficult to know that Lord. I know because I am Lord Brahma, or you know because you are Narad. But for ordinary person, it's very, very difficult. And I know some part of Lord's potencies. Lord Brahma is saying, I only know some parts of it. I cannot understand the entire potencies of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hence, let both of us glorify that Supreme Lord. Why? Because He is the one by whom this material world is conserved, it's maintained, and finally it's annihilated. Same, Lord Brahma says. Hence, all of us should try to know that Supreme Lord. So how to know the Supreme Lord? By knowing his pastimes, by knowing his different forms and incarnations that he takes. So next chapter, he starts talking about different incarnations of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is very similar to third chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, where we had list of avatars, incarnations of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he says, we have to know who the Supreme Lord is, how he managed this material creation, how he sustains and and retains and helps this material creation to execute. Let know that Supreme Personality of Godhead in detail. So next chapter, chapter 7, is going to talk about Lord's incarnations and his specific functions. Now, that's what this chapter will do. In all the verses that we'll go through, is basically saying this same thing. But before I adjourn today, I want to tell you a little bit more about this annihilation. So that will be the last part of our discussion today. And chapter 7 is done. We'll start from chapter 8. But let me find my slide where there is detail of material creation, annihilations. I'm not sure where I have it, but you'll have to give me a minute to find it. Is it clear, devotees, what I have been talking? Making sense? And it's not about making sense, but
Yes, Prabhu.
okay, so here it is, I got it. Devotee, are you seeing the screen? Devotees, are you seeing the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so there are 4 types of destruction. Now, one of the question that he is asking, can you please tell me who is sustaining it? Creation, we know. That's what we are discussing. But he also asked how it is maintained. So maintenance part, we know that Lord Vishnu is doing. And how it's destructed. So destruction, there are 4 types of destructions. And it's called Namitika Parlaya, which is cyclic destructions. And then Prakritika Parlaya, which is elemental annihilation. Then Atyantika Parlaya, ultimate annihilation. And then Nitya Parlaya, constant annihilation. So 4 types of, this is coming from Canto 12 of Srimad Bhagavatam. There are 4 types of annihilation. Nitya Parlaya, then Namitika Parlaya, then Prakritika Parlaya, and then Atyantika Parlaya. That's how we have to see that. So Nitya Parlaya, let's talk about Nitya Parlaya, constant annihilation. Annihilation that happens all the time. Like if you have a fresh flower, you keep it after 2 or 3 days, it will fade, it will dry. All of us were baby still have the baby picture. Then we became Kishora. Then we became adult. Then we are becoming old. Finally, we'll die. Constant annihilation. We are annihilating. Memory is getting lost. Hearing power is going away. You need glass to see. Eyesight is weak. I can say I have glass, and I'm who has glass. I'm not seeing others, but I'm sure others have glass too. Atulanand Prabhu has glasses. We are annihilating. Body is deteriorating. We call it disease. So dear devotees, all of us are annihilating every minute, every moment. So that destruction we should be able to see. So that is the destruction of every living entity in this material creation. Everything is deteriorating. So that's Nitya Parlaya. And Namitika Parlaya, cyclic destruction is that there is partial destruction. So I'm going from bottom all the way top. I'm putting them in the order. The cyclic destruction is the destruction that happens at each day of Lord Brahma's. So for example, there is day and then there is night. So Lord Brahma has day and night. We have day and night. So whole day, many of us got up this morning. Whole night we were sleeping. And then as we got up, we took shower, somebody took some breakfast and got in front of their Zoom to attend this class. And now there is activity. We are all busy, acting. But as soon as it starts getting night, again we'll start wrapping up, right? And we go to bed, sleep. Whole day you work in the office. You go in the morning, open the office, work in the office. In the night, you come, shut the door, leave. Exactly like that. So at the end of Lord Brahma's day, which is Kalpa, partial annihilation happens. And everything below is taking shelter in the body of Lord Brahma. So that is Namitika Parlaya. And then there is Prakritika Parlaya. And that is, so that the Parlaya comes, right? So when Lord Brahma's 100 years are completed, so he has day and night. Day has 14 Manus, 73 Divya Yuga. So when days and nights are the same type, when days and nights are completed like that, 100 years of Lord Brahma is completed, then this whole material world is going to be annihilated. So all that egg that you saw, those eggs will be collapsing and getting into the body of the source, Karnodakshaya Vishnu. But living entities are not going back to whom? Back to Krishna, depending on their desire, contaminated desire, the desire that is still outcome of the passion, ignorance, and goodness. If there are desires like that, they cannot cross the body of Karnodakshaya Vishnu. They will be taking rest in the body of Karnodakshaya Vishnu for next material creation to happen. Meanwhile, we all will be put into rest, sleeping stage. But there is one way living entity can cross this Punarapi Janmam, Punarapi Marnam, and that is called Atyantika Parlaya, ultimate annihilation. And ultimate annihilation happens when living entities are engaged in devotional service of Supreme Lord, and they have purified their existence through the process of bhakti. They have come to the stage of soul, that I am part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead. At that time, when living entity leaves the body, it crosses the material sphere that we saw in one of the in the previous class. I can even show you today too. It crosses that. It crosses all of these Pradhana, Mahatattva, Pradhana, Karnadaksha, Vishnu, everything it crosses all, the Vakunta and everything else and goes back to home, back to Krishna. So it's a big journey. That's why the ordinary devotee cannot make it. I'm sorry to say that. You have to be really, really pure devotee. Try your purest of the pure, because the journey that you have to travel back is not easy. And that can happen at any time. So me, if I this life do pure devotional service, then at the end of my body, when I annihilate, when the body is annihilating, my soul will be finally delivered at the feet of Krishna. Okay, so bhakti is basically we are preparing for this Atyantika Parlaya, ultimate annihilation. Then once you are gone out of this material sphere, material domain, then you go back to home, back to Krishna, and then you become part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead there, associates of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Engage in your original duty. So that is Atyantika Parlaya. Any other Parlaya or any other annihilation, if we are part of that annihilation, we are caught. We are the maximum, the highest we can go is go to the body of Karnadaksha Vishnu and wait until next creation to happen. Why it happens? Because Krishna is not interfering your independent will. You still have desire to rule. You still have desire to be recognized, show your power, your potencies. I'm great. As long as those things are there, Krishna will keep on facilitating that, because Lord has to facilitate. We say that man proposes, God disposes. That's what it is. The living entity has still desire to enjoy. They don't want to go. They want to stay. Then Krishna has made the plan. Okay, you stay. You will keep on going, keep on coming, keep on going. Coming and going is going on. But through devotional service, we cross all of this. All of this we cross and go back to home, back to Krishna.
So, Prabhu, there's a question.
Yeah.
So, where does the merging into Brahmajyoti fit in this scheme? Is it?
So when, yeah, that's very good. Thank you for asking, Prabhu. So what happens is that when living entities, they understand this whole discussions that we have. They understand that we are living entity, we are soul, and our destination is somewhere else. We are here. Then they try to work for liberation. That's what we live. Now you can understand the meaning of the word liberation very clearly with all of these concepts. They try to be free from this material sphere that we have. And then, they take the process of devotional service. So when they take the process of devotional service, in that process, if they worship Lord as personality with no form, when they think that ultimate reality is Brahman, they don't have understanding of Krishna, they don't have understanding of Lord Vishnu. They think that these are all because ordinary human being. Lord Ramchandra and Krishna is ordinary human being. They take the form of human being, and they are, like people say, even there are people who say that in fact Brahman is ultimate Shakti, and when Brahman desire to come, he takes the form of Krishna. They don't know that the Brahman is coming from Krishna. They say that no, Krishna is coming from the Brahman, right? So they think that their ultimate reality is Brahman, and then they worship that Lord thinking that he has no form. Then the destination is Brahman. That is as Brahman. But the one who worship Krishna as person, Vishwara Parama Krishna, Sachitananda Vigraha, Anadira, Sachitananda Vigraha. Vigraha means form. His form is made of Sachit Anand. This is very simple verse, but it has a sense. Vishwara Parama Krishna, Sachitananda Vigraha. That's all, you got it. You got it. Parameshwar is Bhagavan Sri Krishna, and he has a form which is made of Sachit Anand. He is cause of all the causes. A very simple verse, but very powerful verse. So when we engage in worship of Lord as person, then Brahmameti, Paramameti, Bhagwaneti, Sabdate, then we go to Bhagwan. So that is why now, since you asked that question, that is why Mahaprabhu emphasized that this Mayavadi teaching is very dangerous, extremely dangerous. Why? Because it's partial truth. It's partial truth. It's not complete truth. And then you endeavor as a Jnani, you endeavor throughout the life, and ultimately at the end of the day, that you get is only partial truth. That is why one should act under the guidance of bona fide Acharya, such as His Divine Grace Prabhupada and other Acharyas, no mental concoction, no adding and subtraction. Because once you understand this whole kinetics and dynamics, how this is working, you yourself will choose to be a pure devotee. So Brahmanwadis are those who thinks that ultimate truth is Brahman. And Krishna gives them that Brahman destination. But we
So
are
that is still Atyantika Pralaya, right?
Yeah, that it's Prabhupada said that once you go to Brahman, you can be there for long of time. Very long, time. But it's one way, it's kind of putting one into a prison, because living entity, has a desire to act, but your action is seized, because in Brahman there is no differentiation. There is no individuality. The existence is there, but living entity does not have individuality. So it's, in one way, it's liberation, yes, but another way also it's punishment, because living entity wants to serve Krishna, wants to stay in Krishna in Shantaras, Dasyaras, Shakyaras, Vatsalyaras or Madhuryaras. So we want to serve Krishna. There is exchange of relationship, and we like exchanging. Your husband, your father, you have so many other responsibility, and according to that responsibility you are acting, exchanging. So that exchange ceased. There is nothing, just soul. That's all. Nirakar. There is nothing there. So it's, in one sense, it's punishment for the soul, but liberation. That's why our acharyas, that's why this fourth sampradaya, the teaching of Ramanujacharya, the teaching of Madhvacharya, all of the Sankaracharya comes into. If you understand these things, then those teaching will make you more sense. That is why.
Yeah, but I think the differentiation which I was trying to make was between the Atyantika Pralaya versus
It's a still
Prakrtika
Pralaya.
Pralaya.
It's a still annihilation. It's you basically get out of the sphere of material creation. If that's what you were trying to ask, I think I answered that. Yes.
Yeah, but I think I was trying to, like you said, that it's still limited. It's not
According
complete.
to our Acharya, yes.
It's not complete. So then what's the difference between that and Prakrtika Pralaya? Because that's
Prakritik
also
Pralaya, you
annihilation.
stay in the material, you stay in the material realm. So I can let me show you. If I bring the slide, then you can understand better. In the Prakritik Pralaya, you are still within the periphery of the material creation. So,
but you merge into the Lord.
you merge into Brahman.
Yeah, no,
Because
but you merge into Karnadaksha Vishnu. The
Karnadakshay Vishnu, yes. But Karnadakshay Vishnu, yes, you have merged into Karnadakshay Vishnu, yes. But then Karnadakshay Vishnu at inhale and exhale. So in inhale, you are in the it's but just the residence. Like for example, you are going from St. Louis to Chicago and going by a train. Okay, but train is going to halt at some place, and then from there it will move. It's like that. So it's not ultimate destination. That's just the destination for the period of residence, or that for the period until the next creation is coming into the existence. So when Lord inhale and exhale, so the duration that is between inhale and exhale, for that duration you are taking shelter in the body of Lord Vishnu.
Yeah,
It
that's
making sense?
great. Yeah, but then when you merge into Brahman, what's that period? Is there a
Oh, that period is very long, very, very long. Yes.
Hmm.
Prabhupada, very, very long.
Is
That period,
that's
go ahead.
longer than the Prakritika Pralaya.
That period is subject of discussions. There is not enough answer, because Krishna said that once you come to my dham, you don't have to take birth. Okay,
Right.
so that is one discussion. Then another discussion comes, how we came to the existence, because at some point we were at the abode of Lord, right?
Yes.
So how long, that is still I haven't understood that part, but for sure it's liberation, and you will stay there for a long time.
I thought, is the Brahma Jyoti though? Isn't that still within the material manifestation?
It's
No.
it's higher than material manifestation,
It's
but
but not spiritual.
No,
so
but here, as I understand, is the like if the sun is the disk and the rays of the sun, the effulgence which is coming out of the Lord is the Brahma Jyoti. So that's not
so I
material.
can
It's not material.
I can show you the slide, and that will help you understand this concept very clearly. Are you seeing the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so this should help you understand. Now the living entities are here. Are you seeing my cursor, Prabhu's Mataji's? Right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So living entities are here. Okay, and one of the universe, and then these parlayas are happening. Nitya parlaya happens, then cyclic parlaya is happening, then elemental parlaya is happening, and finally Namitika parlaya. Those four are happening here. What happens? The constant parlaya that happens, that is happening all the time. You are still living in this material world. Okay. When the cyclic parlaya happens, still you are staying in this material world. If my cursor is visible to you. But when Atyantika parlaya happens, then this whole material creation is gone. And the living entity who are in this material world, they come and take shelter into the body of Karnadakshay Vishnu. You see here Karnadakshay Vishnu? Are you
Yes.
seeing here?
Yes,
So this is in the Karna ocean. So you are still part of the material creation though. Okay, because Karnadakshay Vishnu is on the top, of this material creation. He is the source of the material creation. Okay, the devotee who are here, who are worshipping Lord as Advaita form, non-duality, they go to Brahman. So you see this light here?
Mm-hmm.
In this picture, you can see here. It says Brahm Jyoti here. You see here?
Yep.
Yes.
So you are out of this material creation, but you come to and this Brahman Jyoti. Your destination is not very far. Okay, but the person who are worshipping Lord Vishnu as a person in Aishwarya Bhav, then they come to this Vaikuntha. So Brahman is here and this is Vaikuntha abode. Okay, so living entity from here, somewhere in this material world, they cross all of this. Even they cross Karnadakshay, Vishnu, Pradhan, Mahatattva, everything, they come to Brahman. If they are worshipping Krishna as Brahman. If they worship Krishna as Bhagwan, and that Bhagwan is Vishnu, then they come to Vaikuntha. Like if you worship Lord Ramchandraji or Narsimha or any other form, Kurma, you come to Vaikuntha. So Acharya says that coming to Vaikuntha is also much, much better. It's just Vishnu and you have worshipped Krishna in Aishwarya Bhav. But Mahaprabhu said that if you worship Krishna in those 5 rasas, and if you purify your life, you perfect yourself in devotional service, then you come to Goloka and serve Krishna in these 5 petals that you see. These 5 petals are different rasa. So Shanta rasa, Dasya rasa, Shakya rasa, Madhurya rasa, Vatsalya rasa, these 5 petals. So living entity are here, okay, all the way down here. And depending on their desire, their destinations are given. If they desire to enjoy material world, they keep on coming. And ultimately they can come to the body of Karnadaksha Vishnu, which is just a shelter until next creation. Okay? But if they engage in devotional service of Brahman, then they come to Brahmjyoti, which is not very high. Still, in this slide, Brahmjyoti is right here. If they worship Lord as Vishnu, they come to Vaikuntha. But if they worship Lord as Krishna in one of these rasa, then the destination is up here. Okay, so that's Naimittika Parlaya we are talking. But Naimittika also is here, coming to Vaikuntha. And Naimittika up to some extent is also when you come to Brahmjyoti. Okay, Prabhu, is it clear? The slide has everything.
Yeah, Prabhu, that's very clear. The reason I asked this question is because most of the world believes on the concept of a non, like the Brahman concept, whether it's a Muslim concept or a Christian concept or Judaism or our Mayavadis. They believe on a formless God. So that's why I think it's very important for everybody to understand that that's what that is exactly. So
That's a very good question, and you are right. But their destinations are also not too high. If they are worshipping Lord as Brahman, they will go. And we know that certain faiths are very much Brahmanwadi. And Vedic teaching helps us understand. It's not bad, Prabhu. Brahman is out of this material realm. Realm is the right word, but it's still not too far.
Plus, they're going to come back though eventually.
Plus, originally, at some point they will come back, right? At some point, from Brahman Jyoti, for sure, Prabhupada said in many classes. How long? That time I don't have understanding, but they will come back. But once you go to Vaikuntha or go to Goloka, done.
So I have a question, Prabhu.
Yes,
so today is Easter, right? For Christians. And as I grew up Catholic. So if you worship Lord Jesus, or because Catholics worship God as a person, that's the Son of God. So is Lord Jesus his what they call heaven? Is that in Vaikuntha then?
This whole Christian understanding, I personally feel that it's a mix of understanding that we have. It's kind of blend. So some part of the understanding is very aligned with how we believe, like taking Lord as a form.
Yep.
And worshipping Lord as a form. Now in Jesus, in Christian also, there are certain segment that consider Jesus as a God.
Yes.
There are certain segment that think that no, he is son of the God. So there are some differentiation there also. The people who believe that he is son of a God, their destination is higher than people who believe that he himself is a God.
Yep.
So there is difference right there.
Yep.
Because he himself said that I have a father. And that father he's talking about Krishna himself.
Yep, exactly.
So if one is worshipping Jesus Christ as a guru, like we worship Prabhupada, thinking that this guru will give me God, then they are going back to Krishna Vaikuntha, higher planet. Maybe the path is different.
Yeah.
But the one who thinks that he's guru, then they have to, continue their spiritual life until they understand that there is Bhagwan. This heaven concept, I personally think that when they say heaven, although they use the word heaven, but they are not talking about the Swarga that we talk in terms of Indra's abode.
Mm.
They are talking about Lord's abode.
Mhm.
And if that's their understanding, and you would know better, if that's their understanding, then it's very high. Then we say, Vaikuntha, they say Swarga.
Mhm.
But the embedded understanding is that they are referring to the same place. So if they are talking about that heaven, then it's very high.
Yeah.
But sometimes also hearing them, I understand that they are referring to Swarga, where Indra is, because you go there, it's very lavish life. You have a lot of opulence there. You enjoy.
Yeah.
The way they present it sounds like they're talking about what Indra has, but also
Yeah.
some of the advanced Christian practitioner, they say that you go to that heaven where you engage serving Lord directly.
Yep.
That's Vaikuntha concept.
Yeah, because I'm Catholic, so that, and I've studied the Bible a lot. So, and that's that's my understanding from my teachings as a Catholic. But also when you think about how did you think about the Adam and Eve, right? They're in the Garden of Eden. Well, that is Vaikuntha, right? And then Adam and Eve became envious of God, right? And enjoyed, and that's why they left, right?
Yes, yes.
That's why
That's what we do. That's what we have
yeah,
done.
it's exactly. So this is where, when I teach class, I said there's many wells, one source. So there's many paths. God presents himself to different peoples different ways throughout time, but it's still one God. Right?
Yes, there is only one God. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
no, so that is how I have understood, and
Okay.
I have also experienced that many of the advanced Christian who are really God lover, God seeker, who
Hmm.
are truly looking for that one God, they are not boosting their practice.
Hmm.
Rather, they talk about the reality and fact of being the Lord as Supreme Lord.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
those people, although their path is different, they are going back to him, back to Krishna. But in every religion, there are mix-up people.
Yep.
Like even in ISKCON too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even I'm seeing that there are people who still think that whatever they are doing is right, whatever they believe is right, but they are still coming to ISKCON. They are initiated. They are
Yep.
practicing Krishna consciousness. They are chanting, but for them it will take time.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to appreciate wherever they are, but also know that it's going to take time for that person. So it's like that. So
Yep.
I personally believe that teaching that presented by Lord Jesus Christ, His Son of God, His teaching is also very powerful teaching. He did
Yep.
not, but He said that I am the Son, I have a Father.
Correct. Yeah.
That teaching, if you go to that way of thinking, it's exactly aligns with what Krishna is saying.
Yep.
What Prabhupada said, so that's how it is. It's very powerful teaching. It's
Yeah.
not, as long as we believe.
And you follow
Ten
God's laws,
Commandments.
which are very clear, but most people don't. So
Yeah.
Prabhupada said, right? Thou shalt not kill.
Yes.
It doesn't say thou shalt not kill people. It says thou shalt not kill. And they also offer their food to God. That's
Yes.
the whole point of
Holy
the
food. Yes.
right? It's
Yeah.
that, but people don't get that
Yeah.
mostly.
Prabhupada also said that if you are true Christian, and if you are following Jesus Christ, you will go back to Krishna. Prabhupada has said that.
Yeah.
Which means you have to follow his 10 commandments, he said.
Yeah.
But you are not doing it. You are doing adultery, right? You are doing meat eating. If you do
Yep.
that, then you will not go back to Krishna. But
Yeah.
one who
Thank you.
follows that, they will go back to Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you. So we can adjourn here. वंशकल्पातरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, असंबल भक्तवृंद की जय। Thank you, Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams. Thank you, Prabhu,
Thank you so
for
much.
joining.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
everybody. Hare Krishna. Hare